Okay, we are here. We are here for another pod. We have had another disappointing week of fantasy football, or great week of fantasy football, depending on how you look at it. Some of the tightest results that we've really had in the league. A victory by 0.14, potential shenanigans with Taylor Heineke being sacked at the end of the game, potentially giving someone a win or a loss. Yeah, very, very exciting. In terms of my predictions, so I got Mike beating me right. Nick let me down currently, but I'm hoping that corrects itself via um, via the old stat correction, but we will see. Ed handily put down Skell. Well, not handily, there's only 3 points in that one. Jim got the job done versus Connor, and he didn't back himself. You're welcome. I'm always here to support you. Mark continues his streak of fucking losing whenever I vote for him to win. I think I'm like 0-10 on Mark games. Like, absolutely stupid. And then Damien fell to an absolutely raucous performance from Numbnuts, who is he's going to pull a Numbnuts and get himself into the playoffs. He has completed step one and step two by getting a nice points for bump there. So yeah, 3-3 on the week, possibly moving to 4-2 depending on any stat corrections. But yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. Jim made some moves, so he got the Foster Moreau tight end in. It was a guy I was going to recommend, and he got a touchdown. And even if you take the touchdown away, he had an alright game. 6 points. It's fine. It's fine from a tight end. With Darren Waller out, he's always a risk to score a touchdown. So that's basically all you want. You're welcome, Jim. Dropping Jarrett McKinnon to make the move. Possibly not the best idea, as he seems like he's the guy now. But we'll get onto that in the waivers. Myself making some moves. I picked up Naheem Hines. I dropped Chuba Hubbard. Irrelevant move, really, wasn't it? Chuba Hubbard, still shit. They're both shit. Matt Hall, he got himself some Tyler Higbee. I was gonna recommend him as the tight end to play, but Matt Hall stole him up. I think I said to pick him up anyway, but yeah. And then Michael Gallup as well. I wanted him, and to be honest, it's like the thing that I like about Michael Gallup is this snap share. So 84% is very nice. The targets are kind of they're not the best. They're not the best. So hopefully he gets more targets and more high value targets as well. Terrace Marshall again, just being a guy. So we had a cheeky little trade that happened as well. Was this a real trade, or are those two faking us again? No, I think it was real. So Jim picks up Tua. I really like it. It probably got him the win, to be honest. Spends a second round pick to do it. You've got to go for the win. You've really got to go for the win. And I can't remember. Oh, you sold Mahomes, didn't you? Then you get Tua back. So yeah. He's having a good season, to be honest. He's with the weapons that he's got, he's always going to be a threat. I should probably have hung on to him at the start of the season, but there you go. Don't hate it. Mikey D picks up Trevor Lawrence. I think this one was just to I know I threw it around a lot last week, but I'm fairly certain that he did that just to deny me a QB. Given that he had Patrick Mahomes, he didn't need Trevor Lawrence at all. It didn't make a difference though. Josh Allen played in the end and was a bit shit. Damien picks up kicker. Yeah, it's fine. I don't really care about kickers. And then I completely picked Numbnuts' pocket with Greg Dulcich for Jeff Wilson. So I sent this as a straight swap initially, and then Numbnuts came back wanting my 5, and I took his 6. It's a complete nothing part of the deal for a guy, Jeff Wilson, who is honestly, he is very, very exciting moving forward. He just got over just half of the snap share, but then look at that, 17 attempts rushing, 5 targets as well. Miami offense is good, and the Miami defense is bad. So you want Miami pieces on your roster. Cheers, Num. Cheers for the starting running back. I'll take that. Matt then drops Tyler Higbee. Classic Tyler Higbee getting dropped left, right, and centre. Picks up Jake Elliott. Oh, that's a rough play. Real rough play. Yep, Jim drops the QB that he added to keep him away from me, which is fine. Damien makes... Oh, Jacoby Myers is available. Yeah, it's a bit shit though. It's fine. And then yeah, gets Derek Carr in. Again, Mikey D drops Trevor Lawrence to keep away from me. I don't have any proof that this is what was happening, but let's face it, it's what was happening. Played Hayden Hurst at tight end. I don't hate it. 6 points is fine. The New York Jets defense, like, how did... I think this is a nice pickup by Kinch. It's the type of... I'm dropping Cam Akers to do it as well. I love it. I fucking love it. The Jets defense is very, very good. And it's not... Well, Chicago is scary now, but New England is okay. Like, they can get some sacks and stuff there. And then Chicago... Well, okay. Yeah, that's a tough schedule, actually, going forward. Connor drops elite Evan Engram, who I think scored a touchdown. No, he didn't. It was not that. I thought he scored a touchdown last week, but hey ho. Oh yeah, it was nullified. Gets the Baltimore Ravens defense again. Like this schedule. Well, I understand it. This schedule coming up: Carolina, Jacksonville, Denver, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Atlanta, Pittsburgh again. That's like if Lamar Jackson gets it going, that's just a sit, put them in. That is your defense sorted the entire way. Oh my god! And then we just come to this complete nonsense. Everyone dropping people ahead of waivers being ran. Poor Jim drops Romeo Dobbs. Oh dear. Foster Moreau, that's fine. Cade Otton, yeah, he's just a guy. Zach Ertz dead forever. Yeah. Just a couple of drops, people making space ahead of waivers. It's quite a smart decision because it means you don't have to mess around with potentially dropping the same guy and stuff. Yeah, I think the main story of this week. Oh, Matt Hall with Justin Fields, fucking hell. I think the main story for me of this week is it's got to be Numbnuts. Okay, I covered him a couple weeks ago, and yeah, we said this is where his charge will start. He's beaten Damien, and then next week he's got Mikey D. If he can get a win there, and if he can put up another 100 points again, then he's going up against me, and my team's falling apart. This is doable. This is goddamn doable. He's doing it again to us. Anyway, with the results, we'll have a quick scan through of the table, then we'll go into the matchup breakdowns. So in last place is Numbnuts with 1,150 points against. I think you can start to feel hard done by here, mate. You're fully 100 points ahead of you're 50 points ahead of Jim, 70 ahead of me, then it's 80 points ahead of everyone else, which is 10, it's 8 points a week. It's tough. It's like facing an extra tight end or an extra defense every single week in your matchups. It's pretty harsh, to be honest. But your points for, you've made up some ground. I'm currently occupying 6th place, and you're only 70 points behind me, and you outscored me by 30 points. So do that a couple more weeks, you'll be in the running. Yeah, Numbnuts in last place on 3 and 7. Then on 4 and 6, we now have a proper soup going. This is a real tasty, hearty broth. 4 and 6, from bottom to top, we have Damien, Kinch, Jim, and Mark. All of you are only one game out of the playoff spots, though. So it is completely, and all of you as well. Damien's 100 points behind, 90 points behind, but everyone else. Kinch is pretty far behind as well. But yeah, the rest, Jim and Mark, actually have good points for. So yeah, if a couple of wins in the next couple of weeks, it's absolutely not over yet. This is very, very, very tasty. Especially Kinch getting the win as well. This is a late charging team. If you can make up the points for difference, yeah, there's a real threat that you could make the playoffs there. Then on 5 and 5 we have Skell, me, and Matt. Matt making a late charge, which, to be fair, given his points for, is something that should be happening. Skell's team's in a bit of free fall now. I think he's lost 3 in a row. The points for is lower than everyone above him by a considerable margin, except for Connor. And I think the worst part is the prospects of the team do not seem to be improving. So Justin Herbert is not great. Aaron Jones is good. Amon-Ra St. Brown coming back's good, and Tyler Lockett's good, but the rest of it is just not exciting to look at. Clyde Edwards-Helaire as well has given you a real headache for your running back 2 spot. Off the bye, I'm expecting the New York Jets to feature James Robinson a lot more. So Michael Carter's value is probably going to go down quite a lot as well. Yeah, it's rough. I think Skell probably need to be looking at what we can do to shore up the RB2 position, possibly try and make a trade. Like, I know you don't like trading picks and stuff, you've been burnt before, but like, yeah, see what you can do. Go and like kick the I'll try and come up with some examples for you in the waiver segment or something like that, but like see if you can get, Mark has got plenty of spare running backs. Go and give like a 2 for Cordarrelle Patterson or something like that, or a 3 or something. Yeah, just something, because the way it's currently going, you're not going to make it, pal. Yeah, then we have on 6 and 4, above like me and Matt, you have another group of people. You have Nick, Ed, and Connor. So Nick is on 1,200 points for. Ed is on 1,050. Connor's on 970. Like, one of those is not like the others. Yeah, Nick took a bad beat to Matt this past week, which has put him into contention. I personally, for very, very selfish reasons, sorry Matt, I am hoping that there's a stat correction there that kicks you back down into the dirt. But yeah, I think Nick's definitely the safest there with his points for. One more win should, based on historical precedent, would get him there. But he's taken some losses now. He's like, this is the chinks in the armor going into playoffs, Cooper Kupp probably done for the year. And the Washington Commanders showed the path to beating the Eagles. So yeah, but you're gonna have to have some heavy lifting done. Well, Gibson had a good game. That's nice, isn't it? Anyway, you're gonna have to have some heavy lifting done by your other players. So you got Curtis Samuel and Deontay Johnson, who are good to step into that wide receiver spot, and you've got picked up Rondell Moore, who's going to be a contributor the rest of the year as well. But yeah, you're basically relying on Justin Jefferson, Travis Kelce. Joe Burrow coming back should be fine for the rest of the year. And also, luckily for you, Jonathan Taylor's back as well. So hopefully you can withstand the loss of Cooper Kupp. Meanwhile, Connor, you lost this week, didn't you? Oh dear. Another team in free fall. No, I'm kidding. I get long term, like, you can't rely on Drake London to be doing this for you each week, and same with Devontae Smith and Chris Godwin, and like, streamed a bad defense and kicker. Everything else is quite nice here. Probably, like, again, this is a good one where you go, DeAndre Swift, you don't really need him. He's not really doing it for your team. Do you sell him to Skell? Do you accept a 2? I don't know. That's probably something where you two need to talk and see what can be done there. But I think you should be fine once you get, like, you've picked up a good defense off the bye week. Is a good move. When you get T Higgins back in there, so you can get Drake London on the bench where he belongs, I think you'll be fine. And then yeah, Devin Singletary as well going in. Oh, Zeke, man, that's just embarrassing. But this is where you need to start making veteran moves. Zeke out, get him into your IR spot, get someone else picked up. Get your defense picked up. Get another tight end picked up. Get something else picked up. Yeah, that's. We've only got 5 bench, so you really need to use your IR spot at every opportunity, especially when you're going into playoffs or want to go into playoffs. Yeah, and sit at the top. Picks himself up another win. He's now 2 games clear at the top. Mikey D, 8 and 2. I don't know how he's done it this year. He's just done it again. sitting at the top. Luckily, I say luckily, he lost a couple of players. Juju, who's a good contributor at him for wide receiver, and tight end's tight end. I think, you get Tyler Boyd back, who's going to be good, and yeah, you can withstand that, I think, especially if Gabe Davis is going to do that a lot more for you. But yeah, your weakness is wide receiver, and I think I like to think it'll come crashing down at some point, but I've been proven wrong every week so far this year. So yeah, anyway, that's the roundup of the teams. That's the roundup of the current standings. We will get into the week breakdown. Okay, so first game to look at is myself versus Mike. So Mike moves to 8-2. I take the loss, move to 5-5. This one here, Josh Allen ended up playing. He did something. He sprained his elbow, so they say. But oh man, he just had some bad looks on the night, didn't he? Where he was on the ground crying, pounding his fist in the floor. If you take away his interceptions and his lost fumble, he scored 25 points, which is great. It's pretty great. Okay, it wouldn't have been enough to win me the week, but can't be too upset by it. Yeah, the worrying thing for me is David Montgomery in this new paradigm of Chicago, where Justin Fields does all of the running. David Montgomery is now second fiddle, and Khalil Herbert got injured, but I don't think that really helps his case because, he was getting 70% of the snaps, and the workload was just going down and down and down. Like this, Justin Fields started getting good there, so. It's a bit of a concern for my RB2 spot. Luckily, I pick up Jeff Wilson to make up for that a little bit. But my other worries going into playoffs, Deebo Samuel and Chris Olave. Deebo Samuel, man, like Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to have to throw a lot of balls, and he's not going to throw a lot of touchdowns. And now that they've got CMC, they don't need to run Deebo Samuel as much. My only hope is that he starts whining about not reaching his incentives and they start using him a lot more. Yeah, that's bad. And then Chris Olave, with Andy Dalton in, he's not that great. Yeah. And Brian Robinson looks good though. I've got some upside with Michael Gallup. Ramondre Stevenson will be back. So running back suddenly looks quite strong for me despite losing David Montgomery. Maybe I could make some moves there, maybe make a trade, but we'll see as this week goes. On Mike's side, so yeah, Mahomes had a beast of a game. Deonta Foreman, yep, he picked up the slack with Eckler going down. I think the main concerns for Mike is the wide receiver positions moving forwards. So Mike Evans has just not been good for a long period of time now. 2 weeks on the bounce, it'd been awful, and then it's just very, very scattershot. The good news with Mike Evans is he takes Tom Brady makes a lot of passes, so there is always targets to catch there. And then I think as well just that wide receiver 3 spot. So you've got Tyler Boyd coming back, but depth beyond that don't really have anything. So maybe need to shore that up a little bit as well. But yeah, Mike gets the win quite handily. Next matchup, we've got a real tight affair between Matt and Nick. 0.14 in it. It comes down to Monday Night Football, where the Eagles were ruled as getting a sack for the last play of the game, where Taylor Heineke's taking a knee or giving himself up. He goes down, a guy taps him on the head. That's a sack, and yes, there's a penalty on it as well. Very, very spicy. Very, very spicy. So I don't know what's going to happen here. Very much in range of stat corrections of something being made from a target into a run or something like that. I very, very exciting. This could change. This really could change. In terms of prospects moving forward, Matt's team is a team I am fucking terrified of. Justin Fields is just probably right now, I would put him as the 3rd best QB. I would probably go Mahomes at the top. Despite Josh Allen's poor outings, injury kind of didn't help. I'd still put him 2. And then Justin Fields is right there. I'd take him over Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson right now. So yeah, and Joe Burrow. Like anyone, yeah. Justin Fields is a scary, scary prospect to face. Ken Walker, despite having a bit of a rough outing in Tampa Bay and Munich, but still got 10 points like through the passing work. He's not going to be that bad each week. And Saquon Barkley is just very fucking scary. Devontae Adams, very scary man. AJ Brown is not going to do that each week either. So yeah, and he's got the Philly defense who are not going to be like that each week. And to top it all off, like on his bench, he's still got Lamar Jackson. He's still got Mark Andrews to come in. Like this is a fucking freak of a team. The only thing that's letting you down right now is the wide receiver 3 spot, where if you're having to rely on Palmer, it's a bit of a worry. Maybe there's a trade to be made there with Mostert, maybe Mostert and Pittman packaged up or something like that to get something good. Who knows? On the other side, we have Nick losing by 0.14, very very tough. Spoke about your team in depth already as one of the ones again. I'm terrified to play. Marcus Mariota. The problem you've got, right, is now if you two meet in the playoffs, I would prefer Matt's team to yours. Well, would I? With Cooper Kupp gone? I don't really... yeah, you know what? Yeah, I would probably be on the cusp of saying I think I would picking Matt over you in the playoffs at this point. Purely because Justin Fields is such a fucking cheat code. Your running backs, like, outside of this week, haven't done it. And they're not going to play against the Vegas Raiders every single week. So that's a bit of a worry. Cooper Kupp, done for the year, probably, in any meaningful capacity. Justin Jefferson, great stat line. He's going to have to... I hope his shoulders are nice and loose and ready to put a lot of work in, as they're going to have to bear all of your team on the back of them, okay? Travis Kelce as well. And you need to stream good defenses and kickers to really get it done. You've got options on the bench. Deontay Johnson going in will do a little bit of a job, and Antonio Gibson for some reason keeps getting it done as well. But yeah, it's really outside of your superstars, and you just lost one of them. And the one that came back is not one I would super trust. Yeah, it's very weak around that. So yeah, it's tough. It's real tough. But I think it's hopefully Jonathan Taylor is good the rest of the way, and hopefully Miles Sanders, like, I don't know, you just need to play the better matchup out of Gibson and Sanders, and weirdly you did this week and it was the wrong way around. So yeah, good luck with that for the rest of the season. I think you'll make the playoffs. I don't know if you're going to win it all unless Cooper Kupp can he's already on IR, but if he can come back in 4 weeks, so he's playing week 15, good to go, full go, I think that's the only way you're in with a shout of winning it all for me. Bold predictions there. Then we have Skell versus Ed. Ed gets a win on 85 points. Everyone who beat 85 points can feel aggrieved because that is the third lowest score of the week. Second lowest score of the week, sorry. No, I'm right. Third lowest score of the week. And Skell loses on the second lowest score of the week. Everyone else, like, you know, you've got Damien on 108 points. You've got Nick on 120. Feel aggrieved by this win. Anyway, this is kind of a story of I said Ed was going to win based off of Tom Brady and Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette took an injury. We'll see if he's going to play on. Travis Etienne had an uncharacteristically quiet game. Tyreek Hill weirdly didn't reach 20 points. They favoured Jalen Waddle that week, but then George Pickens looks good. Did this DeAndre Carter, he looks good as well. Kyle Pitts is a guy that you wish you could drop, but you just can't. And then, yeah, the Dallas defense laying in, like, that's a disappointing outing from the Dallas defense. They're usually pretty solid. Yeah, I think for Ed's team, like, a lot of gooses on this bench. You know, I know Damian Harris on a bye. I like that you've got him because, you know, it's a weak point for the roster, especially with Leonard Fournette going out. But for you to push on to the playoffs, like, the only superstar you've got really is Tyreek Hill, especially now that Lenny's gone down. So you're really gonna like live and die by what Tyreek does. If he can get the long touchdowns from Tua, and if he's gonna need to be getting like 100+ yards and a touchdown each week for you here on out to keep getting the wins, which he can do. He can absolutely do that. It's going to be a tough road. Tom Brady has not been the best QB despite throwing as much as he does. Never really been super stoked about him except for week 4. And yeah, I don't think you've changed since then. And it's missed out on people like Justin Fields and stuff to do that. So yeah, it's a bit of a rough spot to be in. But if Tyreek Hill can just pick up all the slack and you get Travis Etienne back to form, you can probably ride with like Melvin Gordon or Damian Harris like for the rest of the year. That's fine. On the other side, scale Justin Herbert, the biggest mistake you've made. But Aaron Jones looks good. Amon-Ra St. Brown looks good. Tyler Lockett looks good. Like Taysom Hill, I love rolling the dice at tight end, but it's gonna hurt you as much as it wins you games. I would say keep doing it though. Keep doing it because it's Taysom Hill, and every now and then he's gonna blow up for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns or something. So yeah, keep that going. I like the streaming of the defense. New York Giants is good. Yeah, it's just Justin Herbert. Like, just keep an eye out going into next week. The way that your roster makes playoffs from here is Keenan Allen and Mike Williams miraculously come back and play the rest of the season without injury. Justin Herbert then turns into a very, very good play. He's throwing the ball a lot, and those two will do a lot more for him than his current cast of receivers. And you need a running back too as well. Like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you can probably drop him at this point, I would say. The most value he's going to get you is him wasting someone else's waiver money. That's my advice anyway. Next up, we have Connor versus Jim. So Connor scored 95 and lost. Jim scored 99.94 and won. Yeah, on Jim's side, made some moves. So he sold Patrick Mahomes, bought Tua Tagovailoa. Probably didn't lose that much making that trade, and it only cost him a 2 to do. I think you got a 1 back, didn't you? So yeah, that was a pretty good trade. I think for you, Kamara had an uncharacteristically quiet day. You won through good stream of a tight end. You're welcome. Good pickup. And San Francisco defense, they're finally coming through for you. I quite like what you're doing with getting Odell Beckham on your roster and Deshaun Watson on your roster, as all of a sudden overnight you could go from having 2 superstars on your team. But there's a reason we're not hearing that much noise about those guys. Yeah. I think the bigger worry is Courtland Sutton had quite a nice game actually. Yeah, no touchdowns from your receivers, pretty rough. You've got a good roster, is what I would say. You're just really gonna live and die by what Kamara does for you. If Kamara has an insane game, your roster's gonna score 130 points. If he doesn't, you're gonna score 110. Yeah, and that's okay. That's okay. I think you've been a bit unlucky, and your odds of making the playoffs because of that really are diminished. But there's not really anything you need to change. You just need to back that Kamara is going to get it done. I think the New Orleans Saints in general, though, are probably trying to tank their way out of this year. So yeah, not an ideal spot to be in when you're relying on them. On the other side, Connor. So Jalen Hurts, fine, 20 points. He's still probably your best bet for a starting QB if you don't have Justin Fields right now. I'd take him over Lamar still. So yeah, I've spoke a bit about what you should do as well already. DeAndre Swift, I think he's surplus to requirements. I don't think he's a keeper for you anymore. You're gonna keep Chubb. You're probably gonna keep T. Higgins. You're probably looking to keep Chris Godwin, and I would probably be keeping Smith over him. So yeah, you can't keep Singletary. Is he still a keeper, DeAndre Swift? He's probably still a keeper, actually. But between him and Smith, it's a bit of a toss-up. But here's the thing with your roster, anyway. Right now, I think he's surplus to requirements. I don't think he's going to be very good for the rest of the year. I think Singletary is the better play moving forward. Um, I think as well, like you've got one more bye week to get through with Chris Godwin, I believe. I'm not sure if Philly have already had theirs, don't they? So yeah, you've got Godwin's bye week to get through. I think when he comes back from that, he's going to be absolutely awesome, especially now that he's got through the touchdown barrier. It's just this DeAndre Swift situation. You're kind of similar to Jim actually in that your roster's going to do what it does. When you get an 150 point game or 140 point game, it's going to be because DeAndre Swift was DeAndre Swift. So yeah, and I think you can always improve streaming of your defense and stuff like that. I don't think you need Zeke either. Zeke's not very good. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, Jim gets the win there quite handily. Then we have Kinch taking on Mark. Mark let me down again. Atlanta made some interesting decisions with Cordarrelle Patterson and lack of usage, but I think overall, like, Derrick Henry had quite a game as well. Christian Kirk, 27 points is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And he's literally the only thing worth talking about across here. Oh my god. Fucking you one off Christian Kirk, Jesus Christ. No, just kidding. So I think on Mark's side, Dak Prescott, he's up there in my he's probably just after Lamar and Hurts and Burrow. So I think you've probably got one of the top QBs at this point. He's nice to have. Cordarrelle, again, interesting decisions with him on the goal line. McCaffrey, very good. Lazard, fine. Amari Cooper has this weird thing where he doesn't score away from home. He just doesn't do very well. Isaiah McKenzie was involved a hell of a lot whenever I was watching the game on Sunday night. It always seemed to be him up there. So, yeah, that's fine. George Kittle, it's tight end. He's going to have a down week every now and then. Yeah, Tony Pollard was probably the play once you found, well, I don't know actually, because you'd already played Patterson. So, yeah, that's fair enough. You can't beat yourself up too much about that. And you've got into Rashad White as well. And you've got Joe Mixon on the bye week. So, just looking at how stacked Mark is at running back, all the people that I've mentioned who have running back 2 troubles, come and speak to this man. Come and speak to this man. If you're serious about making the playoffs, you'll slip him your 1, you'll take Tony Pollard away, or you'll take Rashad White away, or even Mixon if he's willing to part with him, and you'll just go and make a play. You'll just go and make a play. And one of the people who probably should consider doing that now is Kinch, because sneaking this win, and with your points 4, you're not out of the running yet, but Tyler Algier is not going to get you there. Your wide receivers are actually kind of okay enough to get you there. Brandon Cooks should hopefully improve a little bit. Darnell Mooney, Justin Fields is playing better, so that means Mooney should be better. Hawkinson's in a decent situation where he's being used a lot as well. So yeah, I think it's you've got everything you need except for the RB2 to Derrick Henry. I don't know if you fancy me. I gave you enough money. I paid all the fucking money in the world. If you want to go and make that run, go for it. I know you can afford it, is what I would say. Plus, you're kind of buying yourself a keeper as well. I know you've picked up like Treylon Burks and Rashad Bateman, but shit, man, if you could just go and slip a 1 and get Mixon and maybe send Mike Williams away as well or something, fuck it, why not? See if that works for you. Yeah, but like, because that kind of solves Mark's receiver problem as well. Something to think about anyway. Yeah, Kinch gets the win there. And then finally, we have my champion, Numbnuts. I truly believe in you going 7-7 and making the playoffs. Yeah, he's got 130 points here to Damien's 110. Lots of good plays to talk about here. Josh Jacobs, absolute return to form, return to that first year form that he had. And then Jamal Williams as well has just been solid as a rock while DeAndre Swift is out. Great for Damien. The QB situation is a bit bad, but I actually think, Derek Carr has done the same for you as what Kyler would do. There's something to think about there. Yeah, something to think about. Anyway, unfortunately, DJ Moore has gone back to having to deal with Baker Mayfield at QB because PJ Walker's got a high ankle sprain or something like that. He's out. Oh dear. It was looking so hopeful, but then Kadarius Toney looks great. D Hop looks like D Hop. Two good pieces there. There's and if Keenan Allen ever comes back from death, he'll be solid as well. You could, if you can sneak into the playoffs, which at 4-6 you're very much capable of doing still, could be dangerous, especially if Keenan Allen comes back and Kyler Murray decides to not be shit. That'd be nice. Extremely good tight end too. Defense. I played the Las Vegas defense in a lot of places as well and got burnt as well. It sucks, but it is what it is. Indy came to play. On the other side, numbnuts. So we got a nice performance. We got Dalvin Cook broke off a long one like he likes to do, which contributed to the majority of his scoring, unfortunately. You can't really count on this each week, but it was good for it while it lasted. You need him to do that a lot more times, and you need Connor to do what he's done here, which is score touchdowns a lot more as well. Gino, he's just about a top 12 QB for me, just about. You can probably stream a better one at this point. But yeah, Jerry Judy going out is very, very unfortunate, especially how early it happened. But you still got the win. This could have been an even bigger points for. CeeDee Lamb had that alpha game. Cole Kmet, 2 touchdowns. He seems to be a very good end zone target. He's just leave him in the rest of the year. Stream a better defense, and you'd have had an absolute monster score. But you can be very, very happy with this. You can also, your bench is actually kind of okay as well. So what happened to Mecole Hardman? He's out. Poor guy. Why was he out? Why was Mecole out? Was he injured? I didn't know he was injured. Anyway, you got Terry McLaurin with Taylor Heineke. If he does that against a bad defense, he might be good against good defense. Kareem Hunt, I'd be on the cusp of dropping him, to be honest. I don't think he's really going to do anything for you. But you've got Darrell Henderson, who can be a spot starter if you need it. You think you're good with your guys that you've got the rest of the way anyway. Anyway. That was a deep dive. That was a lot longer than I expected it to go. But yeah, deep dive into everyone's rosters. Some potential moves that I think you should make. We will have a quick, I say this, but we will have a quick view of the players available on waivers. And yeah, we'll see you there. Okay, this is going to be a very quick look at waivers because I'm short on time this week. But I'll do a bit of a deeper dive into who's available in the next episode. First of all, QBs. So if you do need a QB, I know I slate him a lot because I fucking hate Russell Wilson. But Russell Wilson against Vegas, even Matt Ryan was QB3 against them. So Russell Wilson's got to put it together at some point, right? Surely. If not, you've got Daniel Jones against Detroit. These games tend to end up in shootouts. I know he had a bad outing against... he did all right against Houston. He wouldn't let you down. So, I don't mind it. Jared Goff, it's okay. Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't trust because I think he's a trap. He doesn't throw touchdowns, so I would avoid that. And then, really, if you're having to dig that deep, no, there's no one else I would go to. It's one of those guys at the top there. No one else is really worth looking at. All the matchups are really bad. Maybe Taylor Heineke against Houston if you're really desperate. Running back, it's just going to be the same guys that we usually talk about. There's no one. Everyone that is now a starter. So Rashad White would be the main one to talk about. But Mark listened to me, or didn't, or is just a smart guy, and picked him up last week. So but this is why you add people to your roster in case people get hurt. So high value ones, you've still got Chuba Hubbard, Chase Edmonds and Dedmon might be okay. Jerick McKinnon might, if you needed points this week, Jerick McKinnon would be my choice. But then you got Samaje Perine, Pacheco, Hilliard, Madison, Elijah Mitchell. Is he back? Yeah. You know what? Yeah, 18 rushes. Wow. Wow, I did not realise that. Holy shit. You know, Elijah Mitchell. Why? That is very, very strange. Very, very strange. What's going on there? Anyway, Elijah Mitchell, definitely one that's worth talking about, actually. Let's get him on your roster. 18 carries on only 35% of the snaps. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I potentially, yeah, make a cheeky bid there. And then, yeah, just outside of that, it's just the usual guys, you know, Spiller, Gainwell, all those people. If you've got the space, especially if someone goes out late and you can use your IR spot to do it, just put them on. Pacheco is a very good one to put on as well. Yeah. Wide receivers, this is where it gets interesting. So, Damien dropped a bit of a prize for me. Jacoby Myers. I know he's a bit up and down, but Jacoby Myers, in our league especially, he gets a large amount of targets. You know, 13 here, 8 here, 13 here. Very, very good. I think he's worth a bit of a tipple, but this is the real prize. Christian Watson. Yeah, 84% of snaps, the most he's seen so far. 8 targets, 3 touchdowns. Ooh, this is very, very exciting. And he kind of has to play, right? He kind of has to play because everyone else is dead. So, yeah, Christian Watson, very exciting target. Outside of that, I like MVS, I like Slayton, DPJ in a pinch, but Buffalo is a very bad matchup. And then I don't know, did Matt Collins actually do anything? No, he didn't. But theoretically, Matt Collins, especially if Darren Waller's out, you could play him as well. Paris Campbell, my sneaky pick. I don't know why Sleeper has just done that, but Paris Campbell, he is with Matt Ryan. Sorry, once it loads up, technical difficulties. Yeah, when Matt Ryan's in, Paris Campbell gets a lot more targets. So even just this last week, he got 9 targets. This little stretch of where he got 11 and 12, that was Matt Ryan's last games as well. So yeah, Paris Campbell could be sneaky good, especially if you need a receiver. And then yeah, there's just guys after that. Tight ends. Don't really care about tight ends, but Tyler Higbee, especially with Cooper Kupp now, he's a very high value addition. Outside of that, Isaiah Likely. If Mark Andrews is going to miss game, which we don't know whether he is or not yet, he's the one to look at. Yeah, those two are the ones to go for. Defenses. So we have Denver Broncos against Vegas is definitely one you want. Vegas suck, and Denver Broncos defense are very good. They held most teams to like under 18 points or something stupid like that. So yeah, those are the ones to look at. Yeah, and then I'll do a deeper dive on defenses later on in the week because I don't tend to like to waive these guys. I like to just add them. But you've got Washington going against Houston. You've got Chicago at Atlanta. Atlanta are very good on offense, and Chicago are on a tear at the minute. And then yeah, outside of that, like it's just watching for people who might not be starting their main QB and get the defense in. That's the waiver wire roundup. Get your bids in tonight, and I will see you on Thursday for some matchup previews. Peace.